Only a young Padawan when Order 66 shattered the galaxy, Cal disappeared into the shadows for years. But when he finally chose to reclaim the path of the Jedi, you won't believe how quickly he transformed into something extraordinary. Under the guidance of former Master Sire Junda, his natural gifts were honed into a blade, preparing him for a galaxy that wanted him dead. Cal's sharp instincts and uncanny ability to relearn what he had lost allowed him to reconnect with both the Force and his lightsaber techniques at an incredible pace. Yet the power that truly set him apart was psychometry, the rare talent that let him experience echoes of the past through objects. Very few Jedi ever possessed it, and in Cal's hands it became a game changer. He survived relentless Inquisitor hunts, defeated enemies who had slaughtered countless survivors, and even walked away from an encounter with Darth Vader, a claim almost no Jedi of that era could make. If you finished Jedi Survivor, then you already know he begins to tap into abilities that push him even further. And with another chapter on the way from Respawn, we haven't witnessed peak Cal Kestis. Not even close. Kit Fisto, the Nautolan Master, was a phenomenal duelist who perfected Form 1 to a terrifying degree, skilled enough to challenge General Grievous himself in single combat. Whether beneath the waves or on solid ground, Kit fought with a confidence that made him deadly throughout the Clone Wars. When the time came to confront the Chancellor, he was among Mace Windu's first choices. Kit stood there at the moment the truth exploded into the open, when Palpatine revealed himself as Darth Sidious. What happened next still shocks fans. Kit met the Sith Lord head-on and, for a brief instant, managed to hold his own before he was struck down. At least he lasted longer than Agan Kolar and Saisi Teen. Even so, defeat did nothing to erase what he represented. Kit's optimism, courage, and tactical brilliance cemented his reputation as one of the Order's strongest defenders, inspiring the Jedi who followed. Qui-Gon Jinn. What made Qui-Gon remarkable wasn't just combat ability, it was the way he saw the Force differently from almost everyone else. He constantly challenged the Council, following what he believed was the will of the living Force, even when it irritated the leadership. He sensed Anakin Skywalker's staggering potential and decided to train the boy anyway despite the pushback. Qui-Gon might not have been the most dominant duelist, and Darth Maul ultimately killed him, but that isn't why his name echoes through history. Here's the twist. Qui-Gon became the first Jedi to unlock the path to retaining consciousness after death, laying the foundation for what we now call becoming a Force ghost. After the events of the Phantom Menace, the Force priestesses guided his spirit, though the journey was brutal. For a long time, he could only reach out as a voice, unable to appear fully. Still, he contacted Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, passing along secrets that would change everything. In time, he learned to manifest completely. That breakthrough reshaped the destiny of the Jedi, ensuring their wisdom could survive beyond the grave, something the Sith desperately wanted but could never truly master. Plo Koon. He might not have chased attention or carried the loudest reputation, but make no mistake, he was among the most formidable Jedi alive. A Kel Dor from Doran, Plo balanced deep compassion with overwhelming combat effectiveness. During the Clone Wars, he served on the High Council and earned enormous respect for his steady temperament and unshakable ethics. But what truly separated him from the crowd wasn't just leadership, it was his raw bond with the Force. Plo was a masterful duelist and possessed abilities that very few Jedi ever touched. Among them was Electric Judgment, a controlled, non-lethal expression of lightning that could drop enemies without feeding anger or hate. That alone tells you everything about his discipline. He also proved himself an outstanding pilot, commander, and battlefield leader, guiding the legendary 104th Battalion, the Wolfpack, with trust and precision. Pilo discovered and mentored Ahsoka Tano when Order 66 erupted. His loss struck deeper than most. Luckily for his men, he was already in his starfighter when the Order came through. If he had been on the ground, you won't believe how different that moment might have been. Ahsoka Tano. Some people argue she shouldn't rank this high, but that criticism falls apart fast. As a Padawan, she crossed blades with General Grievous and Asajj Ventress, warriors responsible for the deaths of numerous Jedi. Holding her own against opponents like that says more than any title ever could. Then came Mortis. Ahsoka was killed by the Force wielder known as the Sun. To restore her, the daughter sacrificed her own life energy, an act that shook the balance of the Force itself. When Ahsoka returned, she carried something extraordinary within her, a connection no other Jedi could claim. Her path only grew more complicated. After being blamed for a crime she did not commit, she walked away from the Order. For a time, she stayed hidden, resisting the urge to step in and help, despite years of training telling her otherwise. Eventually, she returned to the fight, not as a Jedi, but as someone firmly aligned with the light. And she made it clear again and again, she was no Jedi. Later, she confronted two fully realized Sith Lords and survived. Darth Maul on Mandalore, Darth Vader on Malachor. Let that sink in. Obi-Wan Kenobi. If there was ever a model Jedi, it was him. Obi-Wan lived and breathed the code, evolving into an elite warrior, brilliant tactician, and guiding presence. His command of Form 3, Soresu, turned him into one of the greatest defensive duelists the galaxy had ever seen. Time after time, time, he endured and defeated overwhelming attackers, including Darth Maul, General Grievous, and even Anakin Skywalker. His patience drained opponents, using their fury against them while he remained centered. Obi-Wan learned from giants, gaining insight from Yoda and a broader view of the Force from Qui-Gon. He worked closely with the Council while trying to shape a gifted yet reckless apprentice. And here's the part that surprises people. His midi-chlorian count was lower than many around him, yet he still rose to legendary heights. Beyond battle, Obi-Wan radiated clarity and wisdom. He survived Order 66 and, in exile on Tatooine, became a quiet guardian of hope, watching over Luke Skywalker while waiting for the right moment. Through Qui-Gon's teachings, he also mastered retaining consciousness after death. Maybe he didn't dominate through sheer raw power, but his loyalty to the light when everything collapsed around him became a strength few could rival. Mace Windu. What pushed Mace to another level was his terrifying ability to stand at the edge of darkness without falling in. His greatest accomplishment was perfecting Va-Pod, a dangerous style that redirected an enemy's dark side energy right back at them. Because of that, he could challenge Sith Lords as an equal, something almost unheard of. During his clash with Darth Sidious, while others were overwhelmed by speed and brutality, Mace endured, pressed forward, and actually won the duel. That single victory still leaves fans stunned. And then there was Shatterpoint, the rare perception that revealed the precise fractures in people and events, exposing exactly where to strike. Outside of combat, Mace served as a commanding strategist throughout the Clone Wars, making decisions that shifted entire battles. Despite brushing close to the dark, he never surrendered to it. His control, resolve, and willingness to shoulder that burden secured his legacy as one of the most powerful Jedi to ever live. Anakin Skywalker. Some of you are already thinking this spot is way too low. Believe me, we get it. But hear this out. Anakin represents the ultimate what might have been. If he had never lost his limbs or fallen to the dark side, there's little doubt he would rank even higher. He was the chosen one, after all. The prophecy said he would bring balance to the Force, and in the end he did, just not in the way anyone expected. Beginning his training at 9 years old, Anakin displayed explosive natural talent, becoming an elite pilot, fearsome duelist, and gifted battlefield commander with a midi-chlorian count that stunned the Order. His unpredictable style frequently frustrated the Council, and at times he ignored them outright. Still, he delivered results. On Mortis, he did the impossible, subduing both the son and the daughter at the same time, a feat no other Force wielder had ever achieved. During the Clone Wars, he became the Republic's champion, the face of the conflict, while shaping Ahsoka Tano into the fighter she would become. Among all his victories, one stands above the rest, defeating Count Dooku, marking the first time in 1,000 years a Jedi had truly killed a Sith Lord, given that Maul survived Naboo. But Anakin's greatest strength was also his fatal weakness. His attachment to his mother and to Padme pulled him toward fear, then anger, and finally betrayal. He turned on the Jedi and rose as Darth Vader. For decades, Vader crushed hope beneath the Empire's rule. Yet when his son stepped forward as a Jedi, something buried deep began to stir. In the final moment, love broke through the armor. Vader destroyed Darth Sidious and became Anakin Skywalker again. Even after death, Anakin retained his identity within the Force, guiding and supporting Luke, Leia, and even Ahsoka. The Chosen One ended the Sith, restored balance, and continued to exert immense influence beyond the grave. Yoda. Few beings in galactic history embodied what it meant to be a Jedi Master like he did. Small in stature, but immeasurable in presence, Yoda served as Grand Master, the figure others turned to when the future looked uncertain. For 8 centuries, he trained generations of Jedi and deepened a connection to the Force that bordered on unimaginable. And if anyone thinks that meant he lacked combat ability, think again. Yoda instructed younglings in lightsaber skills and, in battle, moved with blinding speed, precision, and power. He faced Darth Tyrannus and later Darth Sidious, surviving encounters that would have destroyed most masters. Yoda was also said to have mastered all 7 classical forms of lightsaber combat, a level of knowledge almost unheard of. When Order 66 shattered the Order, Yoda retreated into exile on Dagobah. There he meditated, reflected, communed with Qui-Gon, and prepared for the moment a new hope would emerge. Someone who could help restore balance and usher the Jedi back. Luke Skywalker. When it comes to raw power, we aren't about to argue with the creator himself. Even if the current canon version differs from Legends, Luke's potential is undeniable. As the son of the Chosen One, Luke didn't begin training until his late teens, far later than most Padawans. Yet his abilities surfaced quickly, impressing both Obi-Wan and Yoda. Still, like his father, he wrestled with darkness, often tempted by anger and fear. In the end, Luke mastered himself. He reached through the mask of Darth Vader and appealed to the good still inside his father. Anakin resisted, then made made his choice, saving his son, destroying his master, and fulfilling the prophecy. Luke later rose as a Grand Master, gathering ancient texts and rebuilding knowledge of the Jedi. We've only glimpsed this era on screen, most famously in The Mandalorian, but from our perspective, this is Luke just stepping into his prime. After a tragic misunderstanding drove his nephew Ben Solo toward the dark side, Luke withdrew, cutting himself off from the Force for years. But when the galaxy stood on the brink, he returned. Despite believing he had failed, Luke sacrificed himself to protect the Resistance and reignite hope. Love it or not, his final act showed power on a scale never seen before, projecting himself across the stars to face down the First Order. No other Jedi had accomplished anything like it, and those are the Jedi who tower above the rest in canon. Legends whose strength, choices, and sacrifices still ripple through the galaxy. Some earned their place through raw power, others through wisdom, resilience, or moments that changed everything. However you rank them, one thing is certain: the Force has produced warriors and guardians whose stories are almost impossible to top. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more related content shown on screen.